Hey everybody, welcome to Project Beauty, where we talk about project planning and everything beauty related. My name is Jen. I'm going to update you guys on my Project 21 in 2021 right now, and I'm actually really excited. There's some items that aren't really getting used because they're more directed towards summer. So of course there won't be any usage on those types of items, but the items that I am using, these are items that I kind of want out of my collection, and there's something that I've just been kind of not using for the last little while. And so I'm actually really excited about what progress I have been making, and it's opening my eyes to some of these. So let's just get right into it. The first item I have is the Urban Decay Naked Concealer in Light, which is this one here, and I haven't marked it again because it's really hard for me to find where it's at. I can like scrape the sides, and you guys can probably see when I do. Yeah, you can see it there when I scrape the sides, but I still feel like there's quite a bit of product in here. So I was at 19 grams in February. I'm still at 19 grams because I actually started another concealer in a different project. So that one is one I'm focusing on because this is more so my summer concealer. And right now I'm quite a bit lighter, even though I have some bronzer on. Of course, I'm trying to use up stuff from other projects, so I look like a little bit bronzy because I'm using a bronzer. But this item is really nice. I definitely would prefer, I think, something a little more yellow based. This one is okay, but it's almost like too deep for me all the time. And although I like this for my summer shade, I would really like to have this concealer now, but I have a couple of other ones that I kind of like, so we'll see. But I would probably repurchase that from Urban Decay. So I'm still at the same weight currently. I was at 22 when I started in January, and then I used 2 grams of it up in January, and then of course I started using the other one, so I haven't had much progress on that since. And also when I use this right now, I add this in with my e.l.f. concealer, which is a white one, just so that I can get the shade that I really want. But because I have a lighter concealer in another project, I'm just going to use that up first and then go back to that for summer for now, until that other one is gone. So the next item that I have is my Kat Von D foundation in Light 48. And again, this is like another summer shade, so I haven't used this one too much at all. This isn't something that I'm gonna grab towards until closer to summer. So if I use it, it's like very, very, very rarely, and it may be for like close to my jawline, and that's pretty much it. So I don't really reach for it. And so that is at 75 grams, and it has been from the start, but you will see some changes in summer. The next one is the Nars Cruella Lip. It's like a lip pencil, and it looks like this, and it was free for a birthday, like a freebie birthday thing from Sephora, like, oh gosh, too many years ago. It's so old. And I have quite a bit left, but I am making progress. But this one grew, oddly enough. It was at 6 grams and it's now at 7 grams. So this one has grown on me, and I'm not sure why that is, but it's okay because I'm wearing it often. Today I'm wearing a MAC lipstick that's not in any projects, but it matched the graphic liner, so I wanted to wear that. So 7 grams it's at currently, but that will probably go back down to 6, I guess, depending on the temperature and stuff. And then my MAC lipstick in Sin. Now that's something I'm not really going to be wearing too much of yet. I throw it on occasionally, and I don't have a whole lot of this lipstick left, but I can foresee myself going through this in like 2 months for sure, if I focus on it. So once I do that, it'll probably be like August, September, October, November, that kind of thing. So again, closer to the end of the year, but not for right now. Right now I'm feeling spring and summer colors, and just I'm ready for the heat. So that's not really something I'll grab a lot of, but I will occasionally use it. And I was at 20 grams last month, and I'm at 20 grams this month. Now we go to the L'Oreal Lumi Primer. So this is the one that I'm focusing on right now, and as you can see, I've updated it quite a bit. So this was the start, and this is where I'm at right now. And so I was at 27 grams and I'm now at 25 grams on this product. I really like this and I would repurchase this again. I even like the fact that it's very pearlized. I guess that's what I would call it, pearlized. So it looks like very shiny, pearlescent on your face. But I like that underneath my foundation. But I do apply a matte base on top anyway, like a foundation powder or a setting powder. It's always matte anyway, so you don't see it, but under the foundation you do. And then I add my Illumi drops, which are in another project, into my foundation. And I like that combo as well. So I'm kind of liking the dewy look, but I always pound on the powder after. So I'm playing around with it, but yeah, I'm trying to, like, you can see more luminosity today. So, but that one I went down 2 grams and I'm really excited about that. I'm trying to use it very consistently and I've been really enjoying it. The next one is the Revolution Matte Primer, and this one hasn't had any love because I did start out using this one, I think in the beginning. I used it quite a bit, and then I decided to change it back to using that one because this one would be better for summer. It's a more mattifying primer, so I thought the more luminescent one would be good for my winter dry skin, and then this would be good for my summer skin. So that's what I'm using that for, and it is at 32 grams last month and this month. The next one I have is the MAC Soft Ochre Paint Pot. This one I haven't really used much. Again, I'm like not sure why I'm not gravitating toward it. And I have my eye on like 1 or 2 of the new MAC paint pots that they have just come out with, but I'm hesitant to buy it. But I really like these as bases, and even though this one is super old and you can tell that it's because it's like pulling away from the side, it still works incredibly well. And I was gonna like get rid of this a while ago, but I've decided to pull it back in and try and get still as much use as I can. But I haven't gravitated toward it, and I'm using my other bases that I have. So I will still try and complete this by the end of the year, but I need to just remember that I have it and I need to use it. So it's something that I'll have to put like in my line of sight so that I don't forget about it. But that one is still at 17 grams. I used it in the first month and then nothing in February. And I think I only grabbed it like twice in March. So it's something that I really need to press on. Like I need to make sure that I really know that it's there and I actually go to grab it and maybe find that routine of just grabbing it, but I haven't yet. And then I have the Macpot pot concealer in NC25. This is not my shade. It's a little orangey and it's too dark. So, but what I use this for is like carving out under my brows for right now. I do have another item that I prefer from MAC that I use. It is also a concealer and I put it into a little jar. But I wanted to try this because I had it and I was never using it, I guess because it's the wrong color for me, but using it under my brows and like pulling it down and blending it out, it actually works because then I can apply like a more beige, like a light tone eggshelly color underneath my brow bone and kind of brighten it up a little bit. So it works for that. And I have gotten quite a bit of use of this. So you can tell I've used it quite a bit. It was at 17 grams and it's still at 17 grams, but you can see a massive dip. I'm so close to hitting pan that I hope either by next update or the update after that, I hope I do, because I'm trying to work it as like sort of like a tornado effect where I start from the center and then I swirl my brush upward. So I'm still using some of the top stuff as well. I just don't want to have like a hole right through the center. Like I want to start using it around and stuff too. So I still don't have like progress as far as pan, but I know I have a ton of progress. I've used probably a third of the product that's in here and I'm really happy about it because it was brand new when I started. So yeah, that one is at 17 grams. Then I have my MAC Brow Gel in Dark Brunette, and this one, or Deep Dark Brunette, pardon me. This is a really nice, I'm using it today. My brows look real thick, but I like it. But I love this. And the thing is, I'm also trying to use another item that's not in a project, which is so ridiculous, but I feel like I could power through this year, no problem. But I think that I need to really start motoring, even though it doesn't look like there's a whole lot of product in here. you don't need a lot like in order for it to do your eyebrows, especially when I do the feathered brow look. I really only kind of start at the base and like flick it up a little bit. So I'm not using nearly as much as I normally would if I were to do like, you know, 2017 brows where you like fill them all in and everything. Now that I'm using doing the feathered brow look, I rarely use this that much. So I think it's going to last me longer than I'm anticipating. So I had 42 grams and I still have 42 grams, but I hope to see progress in that by the next update. And also I noticed that the jar is like really thick, like the glass jar is very thick, and the actual like pot of it, there's not much in there. It is 3 grams of product, but so I should at least be able to see 3 grams like move. So I'm hoping to get down to 1 either by next update or the update after. So the next one I have is my L'Oreal setting spray. I was at 50 grams and I have completed it. I've actually put it away into my empties and I totally forgot to grab it for this, so I apologize, but it is my L'Oreal setting spray and that one is now completed. So I have a total of 3 items 3 items done completely in this project out of 21. I'm not rolling anything in. I just want to do the 21 on this, and then I want to do other projects throughout the year so that I'm not just focusing solely on the 21 in 2021, and I don't want to do like 43 in 2021. That's not like my goal, is just to do these 21. So I may switch it up next year, but we'll see. So on the next item is the Kvd Sinner Perfume, which is right here. And I've actually been wearing this quite a bit. I'm shocked at how much I have been grabbing for this. I don't know if you can see, but I'm probably like right here. I'll just shake it a little bit and maybe you can see where the water or the perfume is. I'm about right here. So I was at, let's see, 237 grams, and I'm now at 232 grams. So I've used 5 grams of product up in the last month, and I couldn't be more happy. If I can continue this way, even using a little bit more than I have this month, I know I'll be able to finish this by the end of the year, and that's super important to me. I really want to get a couple of my perfumes out and then start fresh because they are getting quite old. And this was a gift from my husband. I really liked this when I worked at Sephora, and they don't sell the ones that I really love. Like I haven't seen Nirvana and James, or Elizabeth and James Nirvana Black. That's my favorite one. And then I love Prada Candy. I think they may still have that, but that one I can find. But this one was another one that I really liked, especially for the bottle, and my husband picked it up for me. So I want to make sure I use that all the way up. So I'm on the road, fingers crossed. The next item is my Bath & Body Works body spray in peach. And I am down to this line here. So it might be a little bit less because I used it this morning, but I've only used a very, very small amount. However, it says that I was at 240 grams and I'm now at 235 grams. So apparently I've used up quite a bit. And I can kind of understand that because I started at 255. And so it was pretty much full. So it doesn't like... I don't know. I can see it. I use the same scale, but yeah, I'm on the way, but this one I'm not as confident that I will get use of. But what I think I might do is when I do my laundry, I hang it up in my hallway because we have a hook there. And I think what I'm going to do is just spray this lightly on my clothes before I put them away. Because then at least I'll have that like nice scent or whatever, not spraying them like crazy, but just like a nice hint when I do my laundry. And then I can spray this when I get out of the shower and stuff, but I'm forgetting to use it, and it's in my bathroom and I'm just forgetting to use it. So that's something I really need to work on as well. That and the paint pot are like the 2 that I'm struggling with. Actually, there's 3, but you'll see that at the end. So I have another one, is the MAC blush in two Virtues. And this used to be a favorite of mine like years ago. I bet you this blush is like 8 years old. So I should probably part with it, but it's really, really pretty. I'll show you what it looks like. It's super pretty, very, very blue-based pink. It's a nice soft blush, and something that I don't wear too often, unfortunately, but it is really pretty. So of course I'm trying to use it. I was at 33 grams and I'm still at 33 grams, and I have been grabbing toward it, but it's not, I'm just not seeing the movement that I really want to. And I will of course hang on to it because I do still love the color and the fact that it's a mineralized blush, but I just have my work cut out for me with that one, and it's not something I'm going to even hit pan on this year. But any usage of the blush would make me so happy, and I would feel successful at the end of this year because I already know I've used it more times this year than I have probably in the last 2 years. So I am still going for those little wins, but I won't hit pan, and I'm being totally honest with myself about that, and I'm totally okay with that. The next one I have is the Makeup Forever Star Powder in 90926. This one I kind of want to declutter, honestly. I'll use it a little bit more, but I think I have a friend that might really enjoy this. I'm just going to pour some into a Kleenex. Hang on. Okay, so it's really pretty. Very, very pretty. It's just not something that I'm in love with anymore. I find that I have so many other really pretty like eyeshadows, like for example this Wanderlust from Stila. Yes, it's a little bit more expensive, but if I'm gonna grab a sparkly champagne color, it's gonna be this one over this one. It just gives you that extra reflect and sparkle, and I'm gonna grab this one over the other one. So I'm pretty sure that I will be decluttering this Makeup Forever one at the end of the year, but I already know I have a home for it. One of my friends really likes these colors, and I would be really happy if she would get some good use out of this. So eventually this will go to her, but for now I will continue to work on it this year and see how I do. I was at 15 grams and I'm now at 14 grams. It has been fluctuating because it did grow a little bit last month, but I have used it a little bit. So I'm hoping I can use it at least 3 to 5 more times next month. But that one is not a priority for me. I'm just finding that it's not exciting to use. And this is sort of why I like these projects, because they show me if I really like something, will I get use out of something, and should I declutter it, right? So I really enjoy that I get to try the products that I have in my collection. And even though I can do that on a regular basis, these projects allow me to focus and try these multiple times in a month and like really try hard to get my goals. And then I'm like, well, I don't really like it, so I think I'm gonna pass it along. And that's what I'm gonna for sure pass along. The next one I have is my Ben Nye Cherry Red Pigment, and it's just a tiny little sample thing that I got on the Makeup Geek website like years and years and years ago. And I only have this much left. There's not much at all. And I'm thinking I could probably get this done in the next like 2 to 3 months if I push towards it, but if I keep pushing towards a bunch of eyeshadow, I'm gonna have no time. So this is something that I'll probably just throw on like all over my entire lid couple days a week and see if that helps me move it along. I was at 7 grams and I'm now at 6 grams, but I started at 6 grams and it had grown, so I'm pretty much, I know I'm using it, and I've probably used more than half. It used to be filled like halfway in the jar. I don't even know if you can see where it's at right now, but it's like pretty much empty. Like it would have had more than half, way more than half in here when I started, and I'm almost done. So I think that it might just be that this little container weighs like 6 grams. So I don't know. But I'm just excited to see that the product is actually going down. That's making me the most excited. And the next thing I have is my Urban Decay eye pencil in Xero, and I've actually used a lot of this. So it's quite a bit smaller than when I started. I think it started out here a little bit more. So I've used quite a bit of this. It was at 4 grams and it's now at 2 grams. So I'm really excited that I'm seeing some progress on that, and I know I can finish that by the end of the year. And then I have my Hourglass Ambient Light Palette. So this one I'm just starting to get some use out of. I used it today and that's probably what the shine is mostly on my face. But it's this palette right here, which is like the one of the first, I think it is the first holiday palette that they ever came out with. And I got this when I worked at Sephora, so this is at least 5 years old. But it was $84, and I just really want to get that money's worth. Like, that's a lot of money for this tiny little amount of product. I don't think I will ever buy another Hourglass anything, really. I'm not really that interested in their products. I do like other things, maybe when my tastes change down the road, but I haven't gravitated toward this. It doesn't inspire me. It doesn't make me feel bougie. I don't get the hype. So it's just not something that I would probably purchase again. I did buy this year's holiday palette thinking I was going to absolutely love using this one, and it doesn't make me feel special using it. So I'll use it up until I can't anymore, and then I'm just going to move on to the next one and just be done with it. But I feel like I could have spent my money elsewhere and felt better about it. So that's unfortunate. The next thing is my MAC blush in Breezy, and this one I'm super excited to say that I've hit pan on it. So I'm hoping you'll be able to see it there. You can see the pan there. There's just it's a little tiny pan, but I'm like really down into, it's very angled like this in the pot or the pan, whatever you want to call it. So I'm hoping that you can definitely see the reflection of the pan showing, but I want you to be able to see the indentation as well, but it's not that big of a deal. I'm definitely making progress on this, and I'm wearing it today. I really enjoy this blush a lot. It's probably one of my OG favorites from them, but I have moved on now to some other ones that are really great, but this is one that I will not get rid of. I would consider getting rid of the Two Virtues one, but not this one. I love this one. And the very last thing I have is my Hard Candy Face and Body Illuminizer, which is this one right here. And I haven't even used it because, again, this is something that I'm going to use in the summer because it's for face and body. And I'm also trying to use this up from my deck of panning project. So this comes first. And when that's done, then I'll throw this in because this is a year-long project. And although the other one is too, that was a social media pick. So I want to try and utilize the Sephora drops first because it's so much smaller. And then the other one will be great for summertime, I think. So that's everything that I have, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this. I'm really excited for the next couple months. I think now that I've gone over this update, I see a couple of things that I need to start grabbing, and I think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to make it a point of remembering like my Bath and Body Works spray and my Painterly paint pot, soft ochre paint pot, and what was the other thing? My Hourglass palette. That's right. I already forgot about that one. All right. So I really appreciate you guys watching. Let me know what you think down below, and I'll talk to you guys again very soon. Bye.